Audio Jungle. Audio
Hello and welcome to Man Cave Movies. I'm your host, DeGarry Andrews. This is my Man Cave and these are my movies. So today I will be reviewing a film that is very dear to my heart, very dear to the hearts of my siblings and others in my family. As a matter of fact, because of the strong sibling story in the film, I am doing this episode adorning a shirt with the names of my siblings. I don't know if you can see them, but it reads Deamber, Sheridan, Dexter, John, DeGarian, and Kia, because I love my siblings like the siblings in the film loved each other. So, the film I am referring to is Spike Lee's 1994 classic Crooklyn, starring Alfre Woodard, Academy Award nominee Delroy Lindo, and Zelda Harris. Now, as I said, this film was released in 1994. I think this has the distinction of being the only original screenplay that Spike Lee is credited with writing that he shares. And he shares it with Cinque Lee and Joey Lee, his siblings, because this film is semi-autobiographical. So I don't have any major points that I want to drive home. I don't have anything debatable I want to discuss with the film. I just want to talk about the joys of the film, the nostalgia of the film, things that I really enjoy in the film. And before I dive into that, I'll just give you a bit of a background with how I came to view this film. Like I said, it was released in 1994. As a child, well, first, I've always loved movies. I said that in my very first episode. I've always loved movies. I've always, since a child, I knew that I would be an actor. I just love the film universe, everything about movies I loved. So as a child, like now, I collected a lot of VHS tapes, and my mom purchased, I remember it like it was yesterday. We were going to Bainbridge to go grocery shopping from Florida. Went to Bainbridge, prices were cheaper there. And there was this place called Video Warehouse. And I remember going there summer of 1995. And we bought this movie. I had never seen it. I had only seen trailers for it. I knew that it was probably a great film, so I asked my mom would she buy it. She bought it. We took it home. We watched it. Everyone laughed throughout the film. It was funny. It was real. The performances were nuanced. They were spot on. It wasn't melodramatic. No one did too much. No one did too little. Everyone had a time to shine in this movie. It was about family, a black family. There were 5 kids. I grew up in a household with 6 children. So there were so many things I could relate to in this film, and we all loved it. There wasn't one person in the house that did not love this film. So we watched the trials and the tribulations of the Carmichael family. We watched Troy, played by Zelda Harris, and as she embarked on her misadventures for the first half or the first 75% of the film. And then it comes to the final act in the film, and Carmichael, who was portrayed brilliantly by Alfre Woodard, and I think she deserved an Oscar nomination. We find out that she has cancer and she passes away. Now, as a child back then, I wasn't fully cognizant of what cancer was, and I also didn't know the film was semi-autobiographical. So I just, that was my naivete as a child. I just didn't know. But so back then I could watch it. We watched it every day, every day. I kid you not. it was one of those films, and we bought it during the summer, so we didn't have school. It was one of those films, it either began our day, we watched it in the middle of the day, or it ended our day. We were going to watch Crooklyn every single day. That was understood when you came to my house. And when watching it with my mom, I would notice that, toward the end, my mom would get silent and almost sad. So after one viewing, I asked her, what's wrong? Why are you sad? What happened? And she told me, she said, just the film reminds me of my life. The five siblings, it was my mother and her four siblings, so it was five of them. My mom's mom, my grandmother, died at a very young age. And all of her children were still young, and they had to be there raised by a single parent, the father. So it had so many parallels to my mom's life, and so it saddened her. She loved the film, but it saddened her at the end. As a child, I understood it, I heard it, but I had not experienced that pain of losing a parent. So, I couldn't fully grasp how this piece of art could affect someone so deeply. And then fast forward to 2003, when my mother received her cancer diagnosis, and it turned all of our worlds upside down. I got it. In that instant I got it. It was the first film that I thought of. And I know some people may be saying, "Oh, you were going through this and it's so funny that you thought of a film," but yeah, I made that connection. I got it. So I had vowed to not watch this film again, not because I thought it was a bad film or I just grew out of it. I didn't watch it anymore because it began to mirror my life. So I went off to acting school in 2008. My mother went into remission in 2004. So she was diagnosed in 2003. She went into remission in 2004. Went off to acting school, and one of my group members, shout out to my group member Andrew, purchased this movie for me for Christmas. He had no idea about the history I had with this film. He purchased it. He said he wanted to do something nice. I watched it. It still tugged at my heartstrings the same way, and that was that. I watched it. That was that. I put it up. I said I wouldn't watch it again. That was in 2008. Fast forward to 2013. Um, my mom 2012, my mom's cancer returns. Actually 2011, my mom's cancer returns. um 2011, 2000, no, it was 2010. It returned in 2010, and her health was up and down from 2010 to 2013, which she passed away in 2013. I said I would never watch this film again, and I have not watched it. Been almost, I haven't watched it since 2008, so almost 20 years. It's been 18 years since I watched this film, and I keep saying I'm going to go back to it, I'm going to go back to it, but I haven't yet. But I thought it would be a great film to review because it was such a major part of my childhood. It is a brilliant film. I think it needs to be entered into the Criterion Collection. It's a really good film. So we'll talk about some of the highlights of this film when we return. Thank you for watching Man Cave Movies. Stay with me. Welcome back to Man Cave Movies. I'm your host, DeGarian Andrews. This is my Man Cave, and these are my movies. Today, we are just having a stroll down memory lane as we discuss some of my favorite moments from the 1994 Spike Lee film Crooklyn, starring Alfre Woodard, Delroy Lindo, and Zelda Harris. So we'll just jump right in to the setting of the film. It takes place in Brooklyn, New York in 1973 during the summer. And I didn't grow up in New York. I grew up in the South. I grew up in Florida. But I think for children no matter where you are, summers are just magical. Summers are magical. There's just something about the wistful nature of summer. It's so carefree, it's liberating. You feel like you're on top of the world during the summer. When that final bell rings for you to kick off your summer break, you feel like you can do anything. You feel like you can fly. And I think that Crooklyn captured the essence of summer brilliantly. You see kids outside playing stoop ball, you see them playing hot peas and butter, you see them playing ding dong ditch. It's just the the beauty of being a kid and just having no responsibility, having your entire life ahead of you. Spike Lee captures all of that in this film. You immediately want to go outside and play the games that they're playing. You want to hit up your friends and get into mischief in the neighborhood. I think he captured it was brilliant. The setting is brilliant on the backdrop of Brooklyn, New York, in the 70s. It just, I wasn't alive then, but I feel like if I had to grow up in any other decade, I would have wanted it to be in the 70s because everything was so vibrant and free. And it was just seemed like an amazing time to be alive. So I appreciate that aspect. And next, the rivalries, the camaraderie shared between the siblings. Like I said, I grew up in the house and it was six of us. And I can say with 100% conviction and certainty that what Spike Lee was able to pull out of those child actors was brilliant. Every single thing, even the small moments that he wrote into the script. For example, when Clinton comes in the house and he's eating the whipped cream, he sprays it in his mouth, he takes the excess whipped cream, wipes it on his hand, walks by his sister Troy and just smears it on her face. I've seen that happen. I saw my brother John do that to my sister Kia before we even saw this film. So those are things that happen. He comes in the house, she's eating an ice cream cone. He smushes her head into the ice cream. Her company leaves. It was just, it was brilliant. Just capturing the essence and the nature of children who don't have a care in the world, who are just trying to enjoy their summer. It speaks about her, Troy, sneaking out of the house at night to go to the corner store and the characters that she sees there, coming back in and her brother's trying to blackmail her for candy. We've experienced that. Anyone that comes from a big family, you know that these things are true. So I just think the dynamic between the children was spot on. I could identify with it. Anyone that grew up in a large family, drop those comments. Tell me what was your favorite sibling moment in the film. I think my favorite may have been, because there's several. I loved when they made fun of Nate, aka Red, for wetting the bed. They made up a song about him. I love when Troy stole her brother's coin collection and went to the store, and she and Mindy had a great time buying stuff. There were just so many, so many, too many to name. I really, really enjoyed the dynamic between the siblings in this film. So bravo, Mr. Lee, for that. More with me and Crooklyn when we return. Welcome back to Man Cave Movies. I'm your host, DeGarian Andrews, and today I am discussing the 1994 film Crooklyn, starring Alfre Woodard, Delroy Lindo, and Zelda Harris. Next, I want to talk about two very, very phenomenal performances, and those are Alfre Woodard as Carolyn Carmichael and Delroy Lindo as Woody Carmichael. Prior to this film, Alfre Woodard had been nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the film Cross Creek. But I think here in Crooklyn, she is in rare form as this matriarch of this huge family, just trying to keep it all together, trying to survive off her teacher salary, trying to navigate life with a husband who is chasing his dreams and is not really a major contributor in the family. Yet she loves this man, so she's trying to walk that fine line of, yes, I love you, but here's what needs to happen for this family, and being a subservient, supportive wife. And the way Miss Woodard portrays that is excellent. She does not skip a beat. She could have been my mom. She could have been your mom. She was top notch here. And this is the film that I think she should have been nominated for an Oscar for. She was amazing. And now, Delroy Lindo, who recently just received his first Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actor for the film Sinners, he turned in a magnificent performance in Crooklyn as well, as he does in every film that he's a part of. But in Crooklyn, I saw my dad, I saw my uncles, I saw the fathers of my friends. This man who had a passion, he had a love for music and didn't want to let it go. So he was battling, how do I continue to pursue what I love, my reason for living, what makes me happy, while also being a black man in this country, while also being a black father, married to a strong black wife. How do I balance all of those things? And he didn't get it right all of the time. We saw his internal struggle without him showing us those struggles. And I think that's what makes a great actor. You show us, you don't tell us, if that makes sense. So I could see that inner monologue working in every scene that he was in. And I just take my hats off to Alfre and Delroy. This was one of the movies among others that made me say, that is what I want to do. That is definitely what I want to do. As a child growing up in Havana, I often said, where do they find these children? Where do I have to live to be in a film like Crooklyn? I just think it was amazing. The last thing I want to talk about is when Troy goes to visit her family down south. She visits her uncle Clem, her aunt Song, and her cousin Viola, who we find is adopted. And it's interesting when they go down south, the cinematography changes to show the contrast between growing up and having a childhood up north and visiting the deep south. Cinematography changes. Troy doesn't know what crickets are. She says the people down south talk funny. She is put off by her aunt. But she forms a relationship with her cousin Viola, so she has good times there. I think the scene that everyone remembers from Crooklyn, no matter who you ask, is the scene with Queenie, which is her Aunt Song's dog. She has been looking for Queenie for days and cannot find Queenie. No one has seen Queenie. So Viola is allowed to have a sleepover. It's Viola, it's Troy, it's a few more of Viola's friends. At this point, Aunt Song is just, she's over it. The children are playing in her house. She loses her patience with them because she cannot find her dog. So she tells them to help her with the rollaway bed. She pulls the bed up. Out pops the head of her dog, and she loses it. You would have thought that she had lost a child or a limb from her body or something. This grown woman, rolls around on the floor, kicking and screaming, saying, Lord, take me now. I don't want to live without my baby. And this is a dog. It's a dog. Now, I will say, back then, I thought it was just asinine. I thought it was absurd. Why are you doing all of this because of a dog? Well, my sister, I want to say in 2007 or 8, maybe even somewhere between there. It may have even been, yeah, I think it was 2007. My sister purchased a dog. And we had never been a dog family, but my sister purchased a tiny little Shih Tzu, and everyone fell in love with that dog. She became a house dog. She lived in the house. Even my father was in love with Muffin. Everyone loved this dog. And when I moved to California, my sister called me and she was crying. And I asked her what happened. She said that Muffin had passed away. I kid you not. I was starting my new job that day at ArcLight Sherman Oaks. I cried all the way to the bus stop. I cried all the way to the train station. I stopped crying when I got to the theater. When I clocked out that night, I cried all the way to the train station, all the way to the bus station, and all the way home. Now, I didn't roll around on the floor. I didn't ask God to take me like he took the dog. But as I got older, I understood Aunt Song's devastation. There's so many things in this movie that so many of us can relate to. I just tipped the iceberg, I just scratched the surface, but this film has heart, it has integrity, it has character, it has the warmth of family, friends, and the magic of the summer, and all of that make Crooklyn a gem of a film. It should be required viewing in sociology classes because it touches so many things. Um, and if you have not seen it, my black viewers, I almost want to revoke your black card. I'm just saying. So if you have not seen Crooklyn, get out there and see it. Again, I'm DeGarian Andrews, your host of Man Cave Movies. Thank you for coming back. Until next time, be good.